struggling to eat healthy, one way to track your progress is to keep a food diary. Easier said than done, unless you're not like me and you actually enjoy doing it. I decided to write down everything I eat in a typical day. 6:30 a.m. Nothing like a spoonful of almond butter to start the day and fuel up for the morning workout. 9 a.m., some kashi oatmeal with whey protein mixed in, some flaxseed and berries for sweetness. That tides me over until work. 11 o'clock a.m., a light snack to bridge the gap between breakfast and lunch, salt and sweet. It's 1 o'clock, it's lunchtime, grilled chicken on whole wheat, soy chips for some crunch, and the obligatory sweet. A 100-calorie brownie. Refuel at 4 p.m. Back to my almond butter along with 2 spelt rice cakes. Oh, love that almond butter. At 7:30, dinner time. Usually fish, occasionally tofu, veggies steamed, rice, brown, cheese, low-fat. Easy enough, even for a non-cook like myself. Finally, around 9, the nightly dessert. My comfort food, low-fat ice cream or frozen yogurt, and a piece of dark chocolate. A sweet way to end the day. All right, so that's what I do to refuel all day, but the challenge is picking healthy and tasty foods that keep you feeling full so you don't overeat. And to help us out with that, we're joined by nutritionist Sharon Richter. Sharon, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
So normally we eat a big meal and we assume that we're going to be full in an hour or two, but a lot of times we're not. I think it's because we feel like if we eat a lot of carbohydrates, it'll fill us up. But you say that's not always the case. What are the ingredients that we should really be looking for?
Total carbohydrates are important. It's what the carbohydrates are made of. You want them to be high in fiber and low in sugar. My 2 key numbers that I tell people are you want the fiber above 3 grams and you want the sugar below 10 grams.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of breakfast, lunch, and dinners, befores and afters, and you're going to tell us what we're doing right and wrong, because I look at this breakfast here. You have a bowl of cereal, a muffin, orange juice. Why isn't this a breakfast that'll keep us full all day?
Starting with the cereal, these cereals that have the yogurt, the berries, all that in it, often they're sugar-coated. It's not high fiber. The juices, you're missing out on the fiber. It's much better to eat fruit than drink the juice. The muffins, even when they're sugar-free, fat-free, everything, they're still super high in sugar.
And sometimes taste-free. Next, what can we put in its place here?
Instead, if you do something like E-Boost, it's high in vitamin C but doesn't have the added sugar. You could do some cereals, heart-to-heart, puffins. They are low in sugar, high in fiber. Okay. Make sure you're getting your protein with some yogurt. Even make a parfait, you can get all the different
So you can
nutrients.
still have the cereal and the yogurt and whatnot. You just have it in a way that's going to keep you full
Exactly.
longer. We move on to lunch. I guess I could see the Chinese food, but I guess sometimes people feel like if you eat a huge lunch, like this big sub, hey, I'm going to be hungry for full for a couple hours.
Exactly.
Not necessarily the case.
Large volumes don't always fill you up.
Okay.
You know, we have the pretzels here. It's all white flour, no fibers in it. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be stuffed at that moment. An hour later, it's going to break down and you're going to be hungry.
So how can we put fiber back into all of this?
So instead of like the white flour chips, if you were picking something like a soy chip, has some protein in it.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're having a multigrain bread that has at least 3 grams of fiber in it instead of the white bread.
Okay.
A really simple one. I have 2 different frozen burritos here. One is very high in fat. This is the Amy's. It only has 5 grams of fiber. The Cedar Lane has 1 gram of fat and has 7 grams of fiber. Both high in protein. So it's going to keep you full for a long time.
And if you eat 7 big pieces of fruit, that should probably keep you pretty full too.
Yeah, probably stuff you.
So really what we're learning here is just even if you amp up the fiber a little bit, that can make that big of a difference between what was in here and what was in here?
It's going to break down a lot slower, keep you full for a longer period of time. Also help keep cholesterol levels down. And
what if for people that don't really want to change too much of their foods? They love their pasta, they love their burgers. We have a typical dinner here. You have, you know, pasta and meatballs, a hamburger and a potato, and chicken parm over here. How do you
Again, it's looking at the type of carbohydrate you're having. If you pick, instead of the regular ziti, you pick a whole wheat pasta. Instead of high-fat meatballs, you pick a low-fat turkey meatball. Instead of a regular burger, you use a turkey burger. Also, instead of the baked potato, you still can have a starch with dinner. We picked quinoa, which is really high in fiber and also
everyone's
has protein.
superfood now.
It's amazing because it's one of the grains that's super high in protein, which we never think of a grain having protein.
Okay.
So you could still have it and still have your chicken, but instead do it on a bed of arugula instead of all the pasta that's just going to weigh you down and make you exhausted.
Because I think people are also worried they're not going to get the same flavors, but you say you're not really losing too much in the flavor here.
We still got tomato sauce. We have some grated cheese on top of it. You have your burger. You can throw pickles, onions, tomatoes, anything on it and flavor it.
Okay, so we just wrote down there you want to definitely stay away from the white carbs and get more fiber in your diet, right?
Exactly.
Perfect. Sharon Richter, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after these messages.